Live from London, it's Plank of the Week with Mike Graham.
Welcome to Plank of the Week. I'm Mike Graham. It's Friday night and we are, of course, at the home of common sense, TalkTV. We've got a fantastic panel, all of whom are assembled here, not all of whom are called Steve. First up, we've got Jeremy Kyle.
Can I be Steve
Welcome back. You can be
tonight?
Steve Kyle.
Steve Kyle.
Steve N. Allen. It doesn't work. Amanda Devlin and Steve Denyer from Virgin. Welcome, all of you. Mr. Kyle, would you like to kick us off?
Channel migrants who I think get really bad, I'm going to try and keep a straight face, get really, really bad publicity.
Here they are.
Right, here they are.
Yeah.
There are now going to be possibly 200 of these people, human beings, whatever you want to call them, who are able to use yet more of our taxpayers' money to grab hold of a left-wing human rights law to take on the Home Office to get compensation. So not only are we being screwed because they've come here, we're going to pay for a solicitor to try and get them to get more money, which we'll end up paying. This is my favourite quote. The Home Office fears a reputationally damaging court battle.
For God's sake.
Everybody thinks the Home Office is shite anyway.
Yeah, well,
I mean...
None of it works.
No.
No, it's completely hopeless.
I was going to be really calm and it hasn't worked. This is taking the mickey at the British people.
Yeah.
It is saying, thanks for living your life correctly, paying your taxes, not breaking the law. Yeah. Let's just give as much as we
Do you know what we
compensation.
Listen, I've got an idea, though. Why don't we just cut out the middleman, right? When they arrive on the boats at Dover, just hand them a big sack of money and just go, here you go. Welcome to Britain. Here's a few...
That's what you told me with my last divorce.
Yeah.
Just before you sleep with them, I'll just give you your house.
Yeah.
That's absolutely
just hand them like a few £1,000.
Yeah.
You know, and say, look, we're really sorry. You might need this on your journey up to our new luxury hotel.
You also made a really good point on my show yesterday, which is fantastic. These left-wing human rights lawyers, how the hell are they making £800 an hour defending people who are indefensible and paid by us? Maybe we should censure them as well.
Well, I think we ought to. We certainly should not be paying for the lawyers, which is what we're able to do. They're able to access lawyers we pay for because they get legal aid. You shouldn't get legal aid in this country if you're not entitled to it, surely to heavens. And what's worse, right, is that apparently I'm just reading that the people smugglers are getting cleverer over in France, right? They're sending decoy boats out to fox the French police. I don't think you need to fox the French police very much.
I think that.
You know?
I think foxing.
What is that? I mean, have they got
It is
like mannequins on them or something?
I think foxing the French. Did you notice what I did there?
I did.
Ain't difficult, do you?
But do you know what
Fox
they're
the
doing?
French.
Members of the gangs are also going further down the beach from where the boats are and firing weapons, right? So the police will go, zut, sacre bleu, and they start running, zut alors, and they start running down the beach to where the sound of the gunfire is. And then meanwhile, the other jockeys get on the old dinghy and off they go.
That's only one level above just going, look at that, while they run that way. Là-bas.
Yeah.
They're heading that direction.
It is a Mickey take, though.
It is a joke,
this
isn't it?
Absolutely outrageous.
I think people are just really at the end of their tether right now. I think that it's just really... This is a terrible place to live at the moment, I think, for a lot of people. People are struggling.
I think you're so right, and I think the problem is, we said it to Mikey the other day, I think we've always been this caring, sharing, morally leading country, but the truth of the matter is we're skint. We are skint. And the reason that the silent majority have realised their voices can be heard is because British people who have paid their taxes, their stamp, they're at the back of the queue. And the minute you do that, doesn't matter the colour of the government, does it, Mikey? The government's in trouble.
Yeah.
British people are going,
Can I also just say congratulations, we're going to mention it probably a bit later on, but Shabama Mahmood, who's the new Home Secretary, has managed to be in just the first week of her timing being in. She's increased the number of migrants coming in by 5-fold.
I think give her a round of
well done,
applause.
Shabana.
She had the clap for a while, let's give her a round
It's
of
absolutely
applause.
brilliant. Well done,
Well
indeed.
done, Shabana.
Stephen Allen, over to you. Last week's winner.
Did you win last week?
Did I win last
No,
week? No, not me.
no,
It's
Angela Rayner.
Angela Rayner.
Is she back again?
She won it last week.
Just to recap then, so this is Angela Rayner who thought, if I take my name off these deeds and buy another place, that will be my only property, which technically you can't do, and the only people who would know that is someone with a level of expertise befitting someone who wants to be in charge of housing. So she was fine there. The latest update on this is, so she's 12 grand, she might have to pay 12 grand on this. Where's she going to get the money?
This is a fine on top
Only
of the...
fans.
Hang on, so just for people who've only just woken up out of a coma, £40,000, right, is what she has to pay HMRC.
Yeah, and this is
because
12
she
grand.
forgot to pay them that.
Yeah.
Because of her mistake.
But where's she going to get the money from? Turns out she got a source of quite a lot of cash because when she sold her old home to the trust to her son, effectively, so when she sold a house to her son, she diddled him out of extra money.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel bad when we do Halloween and I eat some of the kids' chocolate.
Yeah.
But I've not tried to screw my kid over on a property deal.
No, you haven't said to the kid, how much do you think this is worth? And he goes, oh, I don't know, 350,000. She goes, no, 635. And you're going to give me a quarter of it so I can buy another...
The point that you were making last week, which is actually relevant, is compensation was given to your child who's got life-changing injuries, and you've taken that out of the property to buy some. Forget the money side. Moralistically, that's not great, is it?
No.
It's not, but I think it's.
But
it's
the point
worse.
about it is that she took the money out of a house which was valued at a higher level than any other house in the area had been valued over the previous 3 years. So she's artificially inflated the price. Nobody knows how. So that you get 165,000 out instead of about 120.
Yeah, and this is the thing. So the stamp duty one, I don't really want to pick on people for stamp duty faffing around. It was the hypocrisy was the problem last week, wasn't it? Because she's made a career out of saying, make sure you pay your tax. And then she does, that's how Northerners speak. Have you ever met one?
Oh, yes. I've been north several times.
Really? Love that. In this case, I think anyone who, if I'd have had some bit of dodgy dealings with tax things or question marks, I wouldn't pick on other people's tax situations.
No.
I'm not picking on her tax situation just because I'm not sure I've made sure I've done everything right.
Have you paid any stamp duty recently?
Not recently.
Not recently?
Let's not
Have
look
you?
into it.
Yeah, I bought a house recently, paid my stamp. Yeah, I have. Don't look at me like that. Absolutely no. No, I have.
I'm not saying you didn't.
Paid that. Well, you gave me a look that was slightly
because I'm not saying you didn't pay.
I know how much.
Did you pay the right amount of stamp duty?
Absolutely 100. Yeah, why?
Is it your first home?
First home in terms of what?
You see what I mean? It's already difficult.
It's the only home I've got.
Answer the questions.
It is the only home I have.
I'll be the guy from HMRC, right?
Why are you
answer the
German all of a sudden? It's all gone wrong.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, I pay stamp duty. Can I just say I know how she can make that money? What about, because people like a ginger, what about OnlyFans for our end? What's your own?
What's that?
Mike, tell him what it is.
I can't. No, listen, but she's now going to pay a fine on top of the 40 grand, which is what you started telling
it's 12,
us.
And so where's the money coming from? We're just, ripping off her son, seems to be. And I think what we need to admit, though, the reason we're picking on her is because we don't like working class women who commit fraud.
No, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, allegedly. But have a look at the resignation. Sorry, go on.
So I was going to say, aren't we going to end up paying it for it anyway? We've kind of paid for her whole entire life so far, from school, going into council homes, into...
We've also given the money from the NHS that she put into the trust for the son, which is now removed.
And now we'll end up paying back this tax through money that we've given her as an MP.
Right. Yeah. And her boyfriend, Sam Tarry, has now been accused of, shall we say, using his connections with the government to get very wealthy as a lobbyist. Because he's been introducing people to Ed Miliband and getting paid very nicely.
That's worth a few quid, isn't it?
Well, if you're running a solar panel company, it is.
Yeah. I mean, apart from everything else, it's not.
No, you wouldn't want to sit in a room with him or have a bacon sandwich.
Social graces.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's have a look at Angela Rayner's resignation letter.
Yeah, no.
Somebody read that out.
Dear Mr. Prim Minster, I don't want to do my big job no more. It's too hard and people shout at me and it's not fun. I tried real hard, but now I'm tired and I want to go home and put my feet on and watch telly. So I quit. You can give my job to someone else who likes
sitting in
boring rooms making silly faces. Thank you for letting me try. Love, Angela. P.S. Can I keep the pen, please?
You really have met Northern people. That was excellent.
Oh, I lived there for 15 years,
Yeah.
I did love that video. You know that video, the song. I mean, I know it was funny.
That was
but I think
really
it
funny.
Really did a lot of damage. I think so many people saw that and thought, that's the moment I feel she's toast.
Yeah, absolutely.
But on a serious note,
on
a serious note, when you think about how much she has achieved, and we're kind of saying that, we're all obsessed with the fact that she's Northern and she's come from nothing to get to that position, and that is incredible. But it's just so disappointing at the end when it went so wrong and it was all her own doing, that she sits and she cries on television and we're meant to feel sorry for her.
Yeah.
When the country's in the state it's in, and we are all really struggling to put food on the table ourselves, and we've got her crying to say, oh, I didn't realise it's been really awful for me. Well, what about all of us?
I agree. It's also a kick. I hate it when judges go, oh, this person should be let off because he came from a working class background. Yes, she was a single mum. Yes, she came from a councillor. So do millions of people who don't commit fraud.
Exactly.
It's an insult to them to use that.
And also, she was the one who ran the housing department, which put up the stamp duty in the first place. The fact that she claims not to have understood the system, either she's no good as a minister or she's a liar.
I think her fringe was a bit long.
It probably was, yeah. And Keir Starmer, of course, right up until the very, very end, was standing by her, which shows you what his judgment's like.
Yeah, but that's when you knew that she was going to go, because he was saying,
I think
she's
he's
going to
terrified
stay.
of the
She's
alternative.
staying, that's it.
Yeah, I think so. Let's have a look. There's a recruitment website that's apparently using her picture as a recruitment target. Finding a new job can be taxing. There you go.
That's so good.
It's great, isn't it?
What do you think she's doing right now?
She's probably sitting
I really
kicking the
know.
cat, I should imagine, because she's had to move out of Admiralty Gate, Admiralty Arch, which is where the Grace and Favour flat was. Not only moving out, but David Lammy's moved in.
God,
right? Can you imagine?
so depressing.
Shame.
Haven't left much food in the fridge. That'll be gone in an instant.
He's already finished it, I'm afraid. Amanda, over to you. Striking tube drivers.
Oh, they have driven me insane. Driven me round the bend.
have.
But if they're not driving me anywhere, London's been a complete and utter nightmare this week to get around. It's all because people who are paid £72,000 already want more money and they want to work fewer hours.
They want to do 32 hours a week.
32 hours a week.
4 days.
This is the bit that I think is such a brilliant part of the story, is that they've thrown in a list of their demands.
Yeah.
And one of them is that they want this discount card.
Yeah.
And it's a discount card that will get you sort of 2-for-1 tickets on going to Legoland.
I mean, what do they think they are?
Thorpe
Migrants?
Park or, yeah, exactly.
What rights have you got?
They get the discount card. You don't get one. Tube drivers.
They only want to work 32 hours a week or 4-day week. I mean, come on. It's not the most taxing job in the world.
Right.
And
They tell us it's very
same-
taxing. They say it's really, really hard.
So was Angela Rayner's job taxing.
Yeah, hey.
It's so hard that there was
See what I did there?
it's so difficult for them that they filmed. There was this video that went round. I don't know if you've seen it, about a
we
tube
might have
driver
this.
that's sat at the wheel,
Yeah.
but actually just knitting
Just knitting. There you go.
and watching TV as well.
Is that a
which is
bloke or a woman?
multitasking?
You can't ask these days.
I don't know.
Steve, you knit, don't you?
I don't know how they identify.
I knit. I can knit.
Nick Guilty.
I don't think it looks too bad, do you?
Nick Guilty.
Nicked guilty, sir.
There he is. That's what I'd have that as a headline. Nick Guilty.
You see, and that's why you were the editor of...
Yeah. One of the great newspapers. Yeah.
I mean,
But,
obviously, that's
also,
not every single tube driver who is knitting behind the wheel.
Some of them
and yet some of them.
Sudoku will take you a while.
What do you think he was knitting? A scarf?
I know what he was knitting.
What?
An England St George flag.
That's true.
what
You put it on the front of the train.
On the front of the train.
And have it removed. I had a text from somebody this week who'd just been to Singapore, where they've got a very efficient sort of public transportation system, and all the trains are automated. And I think these idiots are taking themselves down that road, because we've already got the DLR, right? And it doesn't have a driver. So we don't really need them. There's no point
With
in having
technology
one.
at the moment, I mean, you've got restaurants where they've got robots bringing you your dinner.
Have they?
Yeah. You've not
Really?
seen this, it's amazing.
Have you been
so
there?
that's kind of, no, not yet, but just videos online and stuff. It's
I went to
slowly
Centre Parks
slowly
with the
creeping
kids
in.
in November.
Bad luck.
Well, yeah, no, but loads of kids, and we were in a tree. This is true. And then we went to a restaurant.
What do you
one
mean? You
night.
say loads of kids? Well, all yours, you mean?
Yeah, no, well, and some of them I didn't even recognise. And a robot bought me pizza.
Yeah.
I was completely, and it was cold.
Sure, it wasn't Keir Starmer.
Technology.
It is your 5-4
Pizza for working people.
growth.
So technology is progressing so much that everyone's got to kind of fight for their jobs these days because it's so much more efficient financially for companies to hire a robot over us.
You're right.
And so you would think that when you've got trains that are now being automatically run, that they wouldn't be out striking and asking for more money to do fewer
You would
hours.
think.
That is just stupidity.
They also want.
the effect that it
One of the
has.
things they also get is discounts on Eurostar, right? Which I didn't know. They get discounts for their families as well, and they also want 75% discounts on train journeys nationwide.
They also wanted to tour around Buckingham Palace
Yeah.
and a night out at a Soho drag party. Did you read the
I
article?
saw the drag party.
No,
one.
but can you imagine a uni official going, right, listen, we want
can sort them out there, Steve.
3.8%.
I wouldn't mind that last bit. But, I haven't
Been to a drag party.
I
ever.
haven't seen or spoken to anyone this week who's had any sympathy.
No.
The mood on the street. I like to think I'm the man of the people
Yeah.
on the street asking, we're working here at London Bridge. Everybody's just really hacked off.
And Sadiq Khan's gone missing, of course, because he's basically thrown up his hands going, well, I don't want them to go on strike, but I can't help you. He's supposed to be negotiating.
Because he hasn't
with them.
got any money. That's what's going to happen to the main government.
Well, maybe
Even
they should
he's-
stop people dodging fares, and then maybe they could save themselves a couple of hundred
Yes.
million, and maybe they could then give them some more money.
Yeah.
But he's
That's
not
more
just
money if the
letting...
people didn't have loads of discounts all the time. But that's why I do have a little bit of sympathy.
Yeah,
For people
all
who
right.
want to work 4 days a week, of course they need that day off. How else are they going to fit in nationwide tours, going on trains off
Yeah,
down
that's
Legoland?
true,
night.
yeah.
The drag night, it's a Friday.
Yeah,
Of course
it's
you
a
can't
Friday.
work.
I'd like to point out I'm very busy on a
Yeah.
Thursday and Friday.
Let's have a look at what London. Let's have a look at what London looked like yesterday. Look at the state of that.
Oh, no.
And there was queues about a mile long for people trying to get into Liverpool Street to get on the Elizabeth line, which was the only line that was open.
There are people on Lime bikes that should never be on a Lime bike.
Well,
What is
nobody
a
should
Lime? I
have
just
been on
saw one. What is a Lime bike?
You know the green bikes that you can hire with your phone? There are people that
It's
have
like
never
a company
ridden a
like
bike.
Uber, but they do bikes.
They don't come
You don't
with
know what a line
stabilisers.
bike is?
How does the bike get to you?
You have to get to the bike.
Oh, well, that's half. What, you've got to walk to it.
No,
Yeah.
they're
And then
out-
you've
they're
got to
around
pedal.
the
They're all
corner,
over the place.
And you've got to
But
pedal.
no, people just throw them down the street.
So
You
you
just
must
pick
have
one up.
tripped over one by now.
Yeah,
They're
I
out.
should have
Yeah.
done, yeah. Anyway,
But
listen, we've got to
black
move on.
cabbies are the
because
ones
we're up
who are
against the clock.
benefiting, basically.
Now, this is one of my favourite stories of the week, Steve. You've got this one. NHS surgeon jailed for insurance fraud after removing his own legs.
And his name's Neil Hopper.
It's not. Is it really?
Yeah.
The court heard in 2019 Mr Hopper used dry ice to freeze his legs to the extent they were no longer viable. He then required amputation, which had long been an ambition of his and he had a sexual interest in. Following the amputation, he made claims to insurers, resulting in almost £500,000 in payouts. He gave numerous media interviews, and this BBC documentary follows him back to work after having his prosthetic legs fitted. He describes realising his legs had been amputated.
I woke up after the operation and I couldn't quite work out if they'd done it or not. You know, I've done this operation hundreds, maybe thousands of times. I never knew what it was like.
So he's actually an amputation surgeon, right? So he's a doctor who was amputating people's limbs and getting sexually aroused by it. That's a bit weird,
Thousands
isn't
of
it?
people, yeah. I mean, thousands
So
of people.
he got turned on by cutting people's
Yeah.
legs off.
Yeah.
There's a
and-
bloke in Scandinavia
I bet there is.
called
Jürgen.
Gustafsson, somebody or other, right, who runs a website where you can watch this stuff, apparently.
Well, I just want to tell a joke, and it's not meant to be distasteful. I've told it to Mike already. It's clear to be told, isn't it? I mean, it's you know, it's like the genie arrived one day, and he said to this bloke, "You've got one wish," and the bloke said, "I want my willy to be that long that it touches the floor." And there's a flash of lightning and a roll of thunder, and his legs dropped off. Maybe Hopper's in that position. I've no idea. But £500,000 for 2 legs, you'd want more, wouldn't you?
Well, he hasn't even got that now. He's had to give it back. And he's in prison.
Yeah, he pleaded guilty to
Solitary
2 charges
confinement.
of fraud by false representation and horrible, extreme porn images.
Yeah.
On his phone,
No one
so.
got to do the legally he didn't have a leg to stand on. Are we not doing that?
No, we're not.
I'm waiting for
I'm
you.
saying, no one's doing it. Just left there.
You're the comedian. That's what you're
why you-
paid for.
Oh,
We
sorry.
left it for you.
That's why you're here. Anyway, listen, coming up, we're going to go back to some Labour politicians because I'm afraid it hasn't been a great week for them. And some more people from the College of Policing. A right plankish group they are. This is Plank of the Week. Back after this.
Live from London, it's Plank of the Week with Mike Graham.
Welcome back to Plank of the Week. We've all been falling about legless here, but never mind. There's lots to going on, and it's my first nomination, and it's going to be the Prime Minister, I'm afraid. He's whispering to somebody on
No,
the
he's
football
just
pitch.
seen Dr. Hopper.
Yeah. Oh my God.
dear
And of course,
Lord.
last Friday, as she did win Plank of the Week, Angela Rayner resigned. He suddenly decided it'd be a great idea to have a reshuffle, Keir Starmer, and he had the first meeting of the cabinet this week. And the trouble is that he's made somehow the cabinet that he did have even worse by putting people into new jobs that they don't know what they're doing. So he had a bunch of people before doing things that they didn't know how to do. They've been doing it for about 14 months, and now he's gone, OK, let's change everybody around. It's like musical chairs. And said we give David Lammy, for example, right? He was the Foreign Secretary. He's now in charge of justice, which includes the police. Have a look at this.
If it feels like neighbourhood policing has vanished, it's not around you. We haven't seen a police while I've been here, and I've been here for nearly one.
It's literally a policeman over his right shoulder. And then because he was demoted, Starmer decided it's a good idea to make him Deputy Prime Minister, which is why he's now moved into Angela Rayner's old place. It's like a comedy show, this
really
carry on
so
governing,
funny.
right? It's absolutely ridiculous. And then he's got now 6 people who might have to take over from Angela Rayner, and they're all women. For some reason, look, they used to call them the 6-pack if it was in America. We've got Bridget Phillipson, who's currently the Education Secretary, although she's had some of her powers taken away. Lucy Powell, who he fired last Friday. Belle Ribeiro Addy, I'm not sure about her, but apparently what she wants to do is give reparations to every Commonwealth country that we invaded and ruined. Emily Thornberry, also known as Lady Noogie, who apparently decided it was a good idea to say on the weekend that we need to be more open and we need to listen more. But she put a tweet out, unfortunately, and turned the comments off. So, and then we got Paula Barker. I've no idea who that is. No relation to Ronnie Barker, I assume. And Alison McGovern, who I thought was an actress, but
she's the housing minister, isn't she?
Is she?
Yeah.
Oh, OK, you know more than me.
She's to the right of the Labour Party.
And of course, then she put Shabana Mahmood out of Justice and into the Home Office, and she moved Yvette Cooper out of the Home Office into the Foreign Office. So it's the whole thing. And on the first day, just as I mentioned, of Shabana Mahmood's work, last Saturday morning, 1,097 migrants came over. And here she is talking about flying England flags.
You know, the people that you see holding the English flag most of the time, down my neck of the woods, will be the EDL, and they are white and they are male and they're bad people and they want to divide our communities.
So apparently if you wave an England flag, you're dividing the community.
And she's in charge of whether people come to our country?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, she's in charge of borders.
What time does that flight leave for Dubai?
Yeah, not soon enough. Here's Emily Thornberry talking about life in general.
I think it's not listening to people of goodwill who want the party to succeed. I think we need to do more of that because I think that the answers are out there.
And she's another one who doesn't like the England flag. Do you remember she had to resign a few years ago because she posted a picture of a guy with a white van in the front of his house down in Kent with an England flag, basically sort of making fun of it. And saying,
I would like her more than anybody else to win it because she undoubtedly has an axe to grind with Starmer because she was in the shadow cabinet for about 4 years and was axed. Lucy Powell, I don't mind either, but I hate her, but I like her because also she's been axed, so she's got an axe to grind.
They've all got an axe to grind.
Phillipson's just had half of a brief.
Phillipson's but Phillipson's the only one that he wants in there.
Anybody but Bridget Phillipson.
Yeah, I think
or
so.
Belle Ribeiro Addy.
Well, let's have a look at her. She's Belle Ribeiro Addy. Let's see what she wants.
Members of Parliament, just like me, enslaved people that looked just like me. Not only will this country, my country, not apologise, they have not once offered a form of reparations. And I believe the reason for this, Madam Deputy Speaker, is because we only apologise to our equals. We only make amends with our equals. So I have to ask, how can I be equal to every other member in this House when this is how this House treats people that look just like me?
So when she asks how can she be equal to all the other people in the House who get the same salary as her, the same expenses as her, the same right to work as her, and the same holidays as her, how can she be equal to them? Because she is bloody equal to them.
She also gets she gets the same rights to use the gym by the look of what she had on her shoulder.
Yeah.
She's got the towel ready.
She's got the towel ready.
She knitted that while she was driving the tube.
I don't want to say the thing that's just come into my brain.
OK, then.
Let's move on swiftly.
Don't look like she'd been to the gym to me. I mean,
I'm supposed to be concentrating on the show, Jeremy.
I do apologise,
Right. Anyway, over to you. Talking of hypocrisy, how about the Secretary of State for Net Zero?
What really frightened me this week, Ed Miliband, who most people I know think is an absolute madman. This belief that we should bankrupt ourselves still further on the altar of net zero. Yeah. And Mike Graham's, I don't know if you lot have heard this, the greatest line I've ever heard from our kid here. He said some months ago, so if you do get to net zero, what happens when you get there? Do you get a medal and somebody says, well done, and now you've got to -5? It's a load of tosh. This hypocritical, two-faced, non-bacon-eating sandwich pillock, that's as far as I'm getting, right, has told us all that we have to have heat pumps, right?
Yeah.
And he said back in February, I've got heat pumps. Turns out the Sun, God bless their hearts, whilst his London home's kitted out, his constituency house in South Yorkshire,
Doncaster,
he hasn't got a heat pump, he got a gas boiler.
Yeah.
So it's great. Do as I do, oh no, do as I say and I'll do as I want. Unbelievable.
Because he wants everybody else to get rid of their gas boilers, isn't he?
But do you know that this is genuinely true, in a poll of, I think, Labour members, was it, Mikey, the other day?
Yeah.
73% would have him as the most popular Labour politician. Yeah. If he's the most popular, they're toast, man.
The lefties love him, though. That's
they love him.
For some reason, he's very popular.
He plans to ban gas boilers from new homes later this year.
Here he is getting off his private jet to get into a big gas-guzzling diesel car.
Yes.
To go on his travels. He was also at the centre of the old reshuffle business last week.
Yes.
And Keir Starmer came to him and said, we'd like you to go into the housing department now. And he went, I'm not doing it. I'm staying where I am. So you can't even move him. You know, this guy's so powerful. that
How
he
is
cannot
he
be
powerful,
removed.
though? Because he was the leader and he was thrown out, man.
Yeah, well, yeah, because the lefties in the party back him. And, you know, without him, the lefties are not going to be very happy. So, you know, the other problem for him is that on the whole net zero front, there was a piece in the Times this week saying that more and more people are now sceptical about the reasons for climate change.
Are they?
More and more people are actually now thinking it's all been a bit exaggerated.
I'd love to know the people who actually aren't, because it is the biggest waste of money. People disagree with me. They go, oh, what about the future? I can't be dead. But on a serious note, I think there are far more important things that need attention right now.
Exactly
on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
And I get told, but we have to plan. Well, you should have done that in 2010 with nuclear fuel. The fact of the matter is this country is I think, on a precipice financially, and people will look at him and they'll go, 800 billion, we can't even afford the interest on our debts. It's not right.
I know, it's ridiculous.
I remember at school, doing like balanced science GCSE, they said these renewables would be cheap energy. Where's that then? Where's the reduction in the bill?
Yeah.
If you could,
it's gone up.
Let's not forget, he said we would be £300 better off when they got elected.
I think it was £700 worse off.
We're still waiting. Here's his latest video this week, Ed Miliband.
What's a trilemma? A dilemma is a choice between two things. A trilemma is a choice where there are three things and you can't have all three. Now, whether it's affordability, security, or sustainability, the answers all point to investing in clean energy at speed and at scale. That's how we get energy security, protect family finances, create jobs and growth, and tackle the climate crisis. And that's what this government's clean energy superpower mission is all about.
I was waiting for a bacon sandwich.
Yeah, they come out with all this rubbish, you know, energy security. Well, we haven't got any because we don't, grow our own. You know, we have to buy it in. We're actually buying in energy from Norway, which is being, oil and gas, which is being dug out of the ground by the Norwegians in a field next to the one that we've just shut down. And you go,
drill,
what are we
baby,
doing
drill.
that for?
You told me last week as well, I was all for that, Mike was telling me that, we don't make enough from the wind farms because it doesn't blow enough. But when it does blow horrendously, like it's going to in the next couple of days, right, we can't store it. And to switch the things off for having go faster, that costs us even more money. The whole thing's a joke.
It's ridiculous. Maybe we should seek some advice from the head of GB Energy. Jürgen.
Yeah. Where is Jürgen?
He's
Has he been
quiet.
cited?
He's been very quiet. I don't know.
Jürgen? Jürgen is the head of GB Energy.
Jürgen Meyer, his name is.
Hasn't got an office, got no staff. It's like we haven't heard from the Border Control Czar in a year. He's on 200 grand. Where's he buggered off to?
Nobody knows.
I just can't stop thinking about his little head thing.
Yeah.
I think you should start the show like that.
Yeah.
I feel like you should.
Yeah. Just turn around.
Ready?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Welcome to Plank.
Yeah. Well, I did it actually yesterday because Shabana Mahmood did a whole sort of press conference, but the camera was there and she was talking like that. So I just started the show like that and said, so here we are.
She's a lefty.
Yeah, she was. Turning left, absolutely right. Steve Allen, over to you. College of Policing.
College of Policing, who they're police busy, obviously not with crimes. But
obviously not.
People who tweet, they've got a lot on their plate. But now the police need to watch out because they say, the College of Policing say that trans women are at risk of female genital mutilation.
How so?
That's the tricky one, isn't it? Because you're kind of not. I mean,
yeah.
Take the win.
Well, actually,
one of the good things, surely, would be that you're not at risk of female genital mutilation, especially if you've not even had an operation. If you've got male genitals, take the win. It's like
have you ever worked with Dr. Hopper? He's the expert.
He's the expert on this. I mean, good luck trying. No one can cut. Sorry to be the crude version of this, but no one could cut off your clitoris because you don't have one. In fact, this is one of the best things about sleeping with trans women. It's not your fault that you didn't find the clitoris. That's what
I've always, whenever it's come to discussion about the clitoris, I always get confused. But I don't understand this. What do they want cut off?
No, they don't, because even if you have had the op, then
you've had your
FGM, as it's known, right?
What's that?
Is FGM, female genital mutilation. It's known as FGM. It's a practice in certain African countries, which is obviously outlawed in Britain. But now the College of Policing is saying it could happen to trans women here, even though, as he says, they haven't got that.
Because they can't get it done.
I can't believe I have to explain this to you.
It's a practice that happens to children as well, and you can't have had the sex op over here unless you're an adult. So unless you manage to have the sex op, travel back in time and to Africa, there is no overlap in this. There is no chance.
So what's it got to do with the College of Policing anyway?
I think what it is they don't want to make people feel like they're left out. If ever there's something to celebrate being left out of, is the risk of FGM.
Yeah, right.
So I don't understand any of this. That's why I'm nominating the College of Policing.
When I was a recruitment consultant, a bloke came upstairs, Aldgate High Street, Newman personnel, 1997, a bloke, and he said, my name's Clive Littras. And I literally promise you that. And I interviewed
We've
him.
all got a joke like that. I used to live in Wiltshire, and one of our neighbours had this rather elderly mother, and she came round one day, and they had this thing sort of climbing up the side of the wall. It was, a flower.
Beanstalk.
Yeah, something like that. And she went, "Oh, look at that lovely clitoris." And they went, "It's a clematis." Clematis. Anyway, we're going to have some more coming up in a minute. That's enough for that. Amanda Devlin is going to be telling us about a magician. Can you make yourself disappear? That one. And of course, the emergency alarm. So we're going to do that. It's Plank of the Week.
Live from London, it's Plank of the Week with Mike Graham.
Welcome back to Plank of the Week. It is, of course, the one place to be on Friday night. We do all the judging. You don't have to do any of it for you. Just sit back and enjoy. Amanda Devlin, you found us a magician. A kids magician.
I'm hopping mad about this one.
Excellent.
It's a magician called Magic Stewart, and he pulls rabbits out of hats.
Does he?
Yeah. Doesn't make Labour politicians disappear, sadly, but he's a really great magician, been doing it for 15 years, he's 60 years old. And Derby City Council has told him that he's going to have to pay hundreds of pounds to have an special animal licence because he's got a live rabbit. It's not just a cuddly toy thing.
Does he pull it out of a hat?
He pulls it out of the hat.
Well, isn't that the point,
and it just sits on the table, and just so the kids can see it. It's there for like 5 minutes. The rest of his act goes
there's
on.
the rabbit. Has the rabbit got a name?
He looks terrified.
But yeah, he's now going to have to pay about £450 to have this license. And he's saying, but surely it's just this one rabbit, and I'm not having to pay the same amount as people who've got loads of other big animals.
Rampant,
and that kind of,
is it?
Yeah.
That's enough of that. Where does he put the rabbit?
In the hat, and then out the hat, and then on the table, and all of the kids go, "Oh my God!"
These are tricks. Years developing.
I mean, are you telling me that you're supposed to be a magician who pulls a plastic rabbit out of a hat, or a rabbit that's not real?
It's a real rabbit.
That's why I said what I just said.
I know.
Maybe better going down the rampant rabbit route.
I think it's great that it's a real rabbit, and
Yeah.
can you imagine the shock of that with these little kids?
As long as
Even
he-
just me,
as long as he didn't sedate it, I suppose.
So he has the rabbit in a box or somewhere, and he then brings it out, and they want to charge him for this.
Yes.
Where are we getting to?
Oh,
Apparently
do you
the
know what?
council, apparently the council thought it was a fake rabbit, right? So when they discovered that it wasn't fake and it wasn't made of
they're
plastic,
charging it. He's been doing it
now
for
they're
years.
fining him.
So
yeah.
what, he's been doing it for 15 years, they've
Yeah.
never seen the rabbit move.
And now he has to start paying this
Plastic
license.
rabbit with real fur.
If he's been doing it for 15 years, it's not the same rabbit. I don't want to ruin that as well. But
It might be. No, rabbits live
the
a long
rabbit.
time.
Well, 15
I knew someone who had a rabbit for about 20 years, yeah. I think they live quite a long time.
no, that's 2 rabbits, and the parents replaced it with a lookalike, surely.
Just because you've done that doesn't mean everybody else has.
That's
You know.
exactly
So
that.
the rabbit is called Snowy.
Of course.
It's not the greatest and most creative name for a white rabbit, is
White
it?
rabbit, yeah.
And the little white rabbit Snowy falls under the keeping and training animals for exhibition category. So they've got to have a licence fee, and he's arguing that this 3-year-old rabbit it's a Netherland dwarf rabbit, if you're
Well, it
interested.
hasn't been alive. Only 3 years, so 15. He's had 5 of these poor rabbits in his
It's-
career.
and I love this line in it that says it's had no training, and so it's just an amateur. It's just an amateur rabbit.
It's a natural.
So it doesn't really need to have all of this,
No
the
equity
proper
card for the
qualifications
rabbit.
and all of that. And he's just fuming that he's got to pay this license fee. That he's in the same category as all these other animal and pet shops when he's just got this one rabbit that's just for kids to take a picture with.
I would see the
Have
show.
a bit of fun.
I think it sounds tragic
If
but
he were any
fun.
good, though, as a magician, when the council comes around to look at his rabbit, it'd be like, what rabbit? And it's gone. And they're like, there was a rabbit here a minute ago. Needs to improve his act.
Yeah.
You should be a comedian.
Stuart Brown.
You're a funny man.
His
you are.
real name is Stuart Brown.
Right, yeah.
Maybe we should book him for the Christmas party.
Oh no, we should do.
Yeah. Oh
my God, yes.
Honestly, if people haven't seen this man, just very dry as a funny
I
as
don't
a.
mean him. I mean the magician with the
I'm
rabbit.
talking about Stephen.
No, I'm going to book him.
book me.
Why?
No.
You don't want to book him?
He hasn't got anything that disappears, have you?
Well, that's...
I spoke to his wife. She said plenty. Hey!
I think perhaps we should move on to the emergency alarm. Steve Denyer,
Yes.
tell us about it. This was last weekend, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
this happened Sunday afternoon at 3. Now, coming around the table, here we are. It sounds a bit like a rock song by the Rasmus called In the Shadows. But if you listen to Virgin Radio, you'll know that. If you
Yeah,
don't,
of course.
wouldn't know it. Did it go off for you guys? 3 p.m.
No.
Did it go? It didn't go off.
Mine was like 2 minutes past 3.
No.
Right.
Did you get it, Jezza?
Mine was 4 minutes past 3. Genuine true story. Mike knows. 10 seconds. We'd had a man round the day before because the alarms had kept going off in the new house, so we were sorting them out. This noise went off, and I went, Jesus Christ, that bugger's got it wrong again. And then Vic went, no, you idiot, the world's ending. And
well, this is the most number of people I've ever heard who actually heard it, because most of the people I asked...
Did you not get it?
No.
Did you get it?
Yeah, I got it twice.
I got it
my phone and I got a tablet did it because I didn't realise that was even connected.
Wow.
There's no SIM card in it, so...
I was in a pub. No surprise.
That's the one.
This was research.
On a Sunday afternoon.
Because one by one,
Vauxhall?
it was kind
Was it?
I won't tell you what I was wearing.
I knew!
But
Come on, chaps.
Is there a rabbit involved?
it seemed to last.
But you made that disappear, love, didn't you?
It was like a 15.
That's a hamster.
Stop it. It didn't work. And there were people on air.
What, the rabbit didn't work? Sorry,
I wasn't trained.
Did you see what happened on
Batteries.
the BBC News channel where they waited for it to kind of actually sound? And it just
that was
didn't.
brilliant.
And they were like filling it in time for minutes.
Right.
I got it at 6 minutes past.
Right.
Did you?
And the alarm.
Yeah. And the great thing about the BBC was that they were sitting there, these two very posh BBC people, waiting for the alarm, and then the woman, who was the main newsreader, said, it's not going off on either of my phones. And I thought to myself, why is she outing herself having a burner phone? You know,
Drug
she's
dealer.
supposed to be a newsreader, for heaven's sake. And then later, something happened that they tried to. We played it out as a gaff, and because it started playing some rap song, her phone, which is obviously the sort of music. MC Hammer started coming out of the phone again on the BBC. Bizarre. I spoke to Jacob Rees-Mogg, who also didn't get it, but he explained how to avoid getting it. This is great.
I switched it off. It's all frightful nonsense. The problem with government warnings is that they'll be giving me a warning the moment that I'm standing in the sun and I should put sun cream on. They start well-intentioned and for major issues, and soon they warn you there'll be a gust of wind.
They should have played the bit where he explains how you avoid putting it on, in which involves toggling to the left. He goes.
I saw this.
I mean, it was so
toggle
funny.
to the left.
So
Toggle to the
hilarious.
left. But
Also,
yeah,
his alarm didn't go off because surely the phone he uses is one of those on the wall with the earpiece you pick up. Why call 211?
Yeah.
He's got that.
Oh, no, his didn't go off because the butler answered someone down the hall.
but you do have to wonder. A lot of people ask me this question: is if you do hear this alarm go, what are you supposed to do? I mean, he's supposed to dive under the covers. He's supposed
Vic
to hide under the
seriously
car.
said to me,
Yeah.
would Mike or nobody at Talk tell us a bit sooner? And
Yeah.
I went, yeah, sure, they're going to ring up and say, Jez, you got an extra 30 seconds before the world ends.
Yeah.
There you go.
Because somebody said, oh, they did it really well in Japan with the tsunami. And you go, well, if there's a tsunami coming, what are you supposed to do then? It's going to literally sweep down the road. There's a great big wave of black water. And there's nothing much you can do, really.
Would have wanted to have kept the dinghies for that moment.
Well, you could have done. Thank you very much indeed. Coming in next, it's the end of the show. Plus, the final nomination, which I have to say, modestly, I think is going to be the winner.
Over Mr. Hopper?
Possibly so.
No.
Wait,
Dr.
see.
Hopper, he trained.
Yeah,
Dr. Hopper. Yeah, but he's a surgeon, so he's Mr. This is Plank of the Week.
Live from London, it's Plank of the Week with Mike Graham.
Welcome back to Plank of the Week. We are in the final furlong and I get to choose who becomes the winner. But before we do any of that, of course, what we have to do is have this final nomination. The man on the front pages of the newspapers this week, who I'm about to nominate, is a former member of the Tony Blair government, now UK ambassador to the United States of America. He is, of course, my Lord Mandy, Mandelson, known as Petey, to his best friend, his best pal, by his own admission, Jeffrey Epstein, the paedophile. Here's his message to him, where he goes, happy birthday, we love you. He says things like, you know, wherever you are in the world, you're my best pal. And then he says, and whenever you leave, you always leave us very interesting people behind. And in the picture of the interesting people behind is a very young girl that's not wearing very many clothes. And it's all a bit mysterious. And so as we speak, a bit like Angela Rayner last week, he's still currently the UK ambassador to the US, but a lot of people are calling for his resignation, right? Because he is a man who was not unfamiliar with, shall we say, controversy, was had to resign twice from the government in Tony Blair's day. Once in 1998, I think it was, because it was discovered that he seemed to have accrued an awfully large amount of money, which he borrowed from one Jeffrey Robinson to buy a house.
But in his defence, he didn't take that money from his own son when selling a house to a
true.
trust. So.
It's only because he hasn't got a son to take it from. But he sort of suddenly appeared with £1.5 million that nobody seemed to know where he got it from. He then came back into government, and a couple of years later he had to resign again because he had apparently sort of used his influence at the passport office to get some passports for a couple of Indian businessmen who happened to be billionaires. And he was a guy that liked to spend a lot of time on luxury yachts. Likes to spend a lot of time.
Finer things in life.
Finer things in life. And it was revealed this week that Epstein and he actually brokered a deal over the sale of a UK taxpayer-owned bank after he had been convicted of child sex offences, right? Now...
stayed in his house, didn't he?
He stayed in his house in New York while Epstein was actually in prison for trying to solicit child prostitutes, right? Then he went down to Pedo Island, as it's rather charmingly known, off the coast of Florida. And there's a picture of him in a sort of bathrobe, sitting, smiling and laughing with Jeffrey Epstein on the other side of the table. And you just think, there it is. What on earth is he doing?
It's not the question. Again, I think if you've resigned twice, people will probably know what you're like. The question surely is, and I saw actually Kemi Badenoch challenging Starmer in the Commons this week, he said, and I quote, all the background checks were done. Another appalling judgment by Starmer. He won't be here by the time we're back next week. There's a state visit coming up.
A state visit of Donald Trump coming next week. Well, let's see what Prime Minister's questions showed up for Keir Starmer. He was attacked quite well this week by Kemi Badenoch.
The victims of the paedophile Jeffrey Epstein have called for Lord Mandelson to be sacked. And just so the House is aware, in 2019, Jeffrey Epstein was convicted of child prostitution and sex trafficking that took place between 2002 and 2005. That is the precise period which Lord Mandelson called Jeffrey Epstein his best pal. Absolutely. Was the Prime Minister aware of this intimate relationship when he appointed Lord Mandelson to be our ambassador in Washington?
Mr. Speaker, as she and the House would expect, full due process was followed during this appointment, as it is with all ambassadors. The ambassador has repeatedly expressed his deep regret. He is right to do so. He's now playing an important part in the US-UK relationship.
I mean, that is unforgivable. He's basically saying it's OK for the UK ambassador to the USA to have been good mates, best pals with a paedophile. That's what he said.
I don't understand with these Labour people, if they have any intelligence at all. It's an absolute no-no. In another week, another main person, and you picked him, Starmer.
Yeah.
Again, on you.
It is
unbelievable.
Incredible. Incredibly as well, Harry Cole from The Sun, who's now over in America, doing a brand new show, which kicks off this week, right? It's called Harry Cole Saves the West. He got an interview with Peter Mandelson. Here it is.
During all the time I was an associate of his, I never saw the wrongdoing. I never saw any evidence of criminal activity. I never sought, and nor did he offer any introductions to women in the way that allegedly he did for others. Perhaps it's because I'm a gay man. Perhaps when I knew him...
In all those years you saw nothing untoward.
Perhaps
no whispers on the wind.
Perhaps when I was associating with him those years ago, as I did with my then partner and now husband, Ronaldo, we never, ever saw any evidence or sign of this activity, which has since come to light.
Yeah, but hang on. He stayed in his house in America while he was in prison. So he knew he was in prison when he went to the house.
About children, about soliciting children.
For soliciting child
And you're the
prostitutes.
ambassador to the United Kingdom. Your judgment is that rubbish. You couldn't see that that's an own goal.
No, but... Yeah, exactly. But at the time, he was business secretary in the Blair government. Wow. I mean, it was worse than that. So he knew him both before he was a convicted paedophile and, a bit like Prince Andrew, after he was a convicted paedophile, he was still mates with him.
Do you think it's a bit like the Transport Secretary who, stole the phone?
Louise Haigh.
Yeah. And Starmer said, I know all about that.
Yeah.
And he went, I didn't know about that. Next week, Starmer would go, well, I thought I knew all about that, but I didn't. He did
the same with Angela Rayner. It's a pattern starting to emerge where basically he stands up there and he defends them. In the same way last week as he said he was very proud to serve with Angela Rayner.
That's the shot.
There she is, very happy and very proud, in fact, he was to stand by her. If she gets into any more trouble, he's in a lot of trouble.
The only person he's not backed is Rachel Reeves, who's still there.
Yeah.
Like, if you get a support by Starmer, you're out.
Yeah.
If he makes you cry in the background while he barely admits that you're going to keep the job,
Yeah.
you're absolutely solid.
It's an interesting point. So at the moment, Mandelson is clinging on, shall we say.
There's going to be more, though, isn't there? From that Harry Cole
Yeah.
interview, I got the impression that this is just the beginning.
Yeah,
So this
no
is going to
question.
rumble
There's going to
on.
be more to come out, and of course, there will probably be more details because, like the way that these newspaper stories usually come out, Amanda knows this better than me. You know, there'll be something else that's not in the paper today. But
Look
will
at
be
the
in the
eyes.
paper.
Did
Look
you
at the
see
eyes.
it? She went.
Yeah.
Come on, then. What do you reckon?
This is like the magician.
There'll be like a couple more really juicy details that will come out in the next couple of days, which will finish him off.
Is that why
a goner, isn't he?
Is that why he did the interview and said there's more emails to come? Is he trying to lay the ground?
I don't want you to scoop us. Come on, Jezza. You know what it's like. But Harry's doing a great job. So
Harry's doing an amazing job.
But isn't it ridiculous that we've got this government that can't seem to get out? And they said, if you remember, they were not going to be sleazy. They were going to be different. They were going to be a government of public service. You know, they were not going to in any way put the party first. It was going to be country first, party second. Remember all that? I don't think I can give it to anybody else. I think it's got to be Mandelson, hasn't it? It has to be.
I would never disagree with my best mate, but Dr. Hopper, is he not too good to miss?
Well, he is good. He's brilliant. But, I mean, this is the massive story of the week.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that we sometimes go off to the side. Also,
Hopper.
I don't want to. You know, he might get some kind of thrill if we make him plank of the week. He might cut his arms off or something. You know, and it'll end up like the Black Knight, just like a stump going. You know, "Row, row, row." But I'm really, really horny. You know, I don't know what he's going to do.
He might end up as a stump with a horn. Just a torso with an erect penis. The thought is too much for me. Steve's
Stop it, James. Make it stop.
So I'm going to make it Peter Mandelson because he's got his legs. And who knows if you still have a job by the time you see this on Plank of the Week. Listen, thank you very much.
We might not either, to be fair.
No, we're all out of a job after this. Jeremy, Steve, Ed Allen, Amanda Devlin, Steve Denyer, thank you very much indeed. This is Plank of the Week. We'll see you next time.